Oh, there we go. Hello, hello. I can see us. So welcome, everybody. This is a business interview series for Empowered Business Networking. I'm Stephanie Bonte-Lebair. I am a voice presentation and sales coach, and I love to chat with members of my networking group who are making a difference in the world. And we have Deborah Daniel here from Charter Accounting. She's a CPA. I'm really excited to learn more about what she does. And there are gifts that will be given today on the call for people who are watching. So stay tuned to learn how you can win something for free. So Deborah brings more than 29 years of experience as a founder and CEO of Charter Accounting and Tax Service, a CPA firm based in Atlanta, Georgia, with clients all over the country. She brings a unique blend of financial expertise, real-world authenticity, and practicality to help her clients really understand and master the whole money equation. Her goal is to help clients make more money, keep more money, and grow more money. She's a speaker, author of 100 Innovative Ways to Make More Profit and the soon-to-be-released Women's Wealth Secrets, and host of the podcast show Money Without Limits on the EWN Podcast Network. Welcome. Thanks so much for being here, Diane.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is just talking about business and money. And it's what I love to do. Honestly, I wish I could do it all day long, every day. So an opportunity to talk about it because it is so, so important. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. And along those lines, the first question I always like to ask people is, what are you really passionate about when it comes to what you do? Like, what really lights the fire for you?
Honestly, it really is. Life isn't about money, but business really is. And it just kills me. I've been doing this for nearly 30 years. Hopefully I don't look that old. But to see people killing themselves, spending 80 hours to or more to avoid a 40-hour gig. Business is, I 100% in my bones, in my blood, in my cells believe that the easiest way, the fastest way to create wealth is owning your own business and having control over your inflows, really. But the problem is I see so many people doing it the hard way. So I'm passionate about helping them figure out the easier way to make that happen.
I love that. So how do you help people? Like, what is the transformation? If they're struggling, if you're a business owner that is working 80 hours instead of the 40 hours with the job, right? Because I did that. I worked the 40 hours a week with the job and my soul died. Right? So I became a business owner. So how do you help that business owner transform that, that new job into something that's really profitable?
Well, the thing is, I think the first thing is, of course, the main thing that I've done for almost the whole 30 years is the tax business and accounting business, which is kind of more the one piece of the puzzle. The real part is you've got to understand, getting people into what the real flow of the money is, because it's not just about, if you just did my part, of course I could help you save taxes, but I can't if you're not bringing money in. So we've got to have the whole flow, bringing it in. That's the ends. Then the keeping as much as we can, so it's not coming out as fast as you're pouring it in. And then taking that profit and creating the lifestyle and really the legacy wealth that you should be generating. So the first thing is to figure out, where's your flow? And if it's not happening, which piece of that puzzle is blocking it? Because maybe it is that, we got your tax strategy 100% right, but you're not bringing enough in. So then we got to figure out, how do we do that? And there's a ton of different strategies, and that's somewhat related to the gift that I'm going to give at the end. But it really is, it's not just a one and done kind of thing. And looking at the numbers doesn't sound sexy, but when your bank account is increasing, that's super sexy to me. And that's what I like to help people do.
Yeah. Can you give an example of one way you help somebody increase their inflow if they're low on the income side?
Well, the thing is, on the inflow, a lot of the times it's really just looking at, this is to me the absolute easiest way to increase your income, is to look at what you're already doing and try to figure out how you can sell more, an additional something to that same person. Because I say this all the time, once a buyer, always a buyer, right? So if you're struggling with getting fast income, I love networking. I'm a serial networker. I've been doing this for a decade. I think it's a huge, important part of our business, but there's a little bit of a time lag in that, right? I mean, you're not going to immediately walk in. I mean, you're messing up if you're walking into a networking event and expecting to walk out with a check. That's not the way it works. But if I'm selling someone X a tax return and I have 10 other things related, of course, I'm not trying to sell coffee or jewelry or something unrelated, but hey, I could sell them tax planning, or I could sell them a financial plan, or I could sell them a mastermind or whatever. These, going to those people that you already have and basically, do you want fries with that burger? Kind of mentality is the fastest way to add revenue. Instead of going out and trying to nurture those relationships, get more people. Of course, that's a huge part of your strategy, but your fast cash is going to come by going back to the well that you've already drawn from.
Yeah, that is such a great point, because I think we often forget that we have clients already. Why not, nurture them into the next step in their journey versus always having to find that new person? Like, where's the new person going to come from? And that energy can really be draining too, to
You
be
can't
constantly
stop it because you
looking.
are going to have attrition, right? I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, we kid around. It's kind of halfway funny, but we say our attrition is by death, basically. I've been doing this for 29 years, so some of my clients are dying off now. So we're having to replace them with their kids and their grandkids.
That's awesome that you would have them for life too, right? Like
Right,
that,
right.
you're in the type of business where once they're a client, it's very rare for them to leave,
Mhm.
unless they die. So,
And
that's
that's
a
the other
built-in
part
model.
of the going back to the well. Retention is so important. When you're so
Mm,
busy, if you have a model, and almost everybody does, a way that people are going to be repeat customers, don't forget about networking to them. I mean, to nurture them. And I mean, even if they're not a recurring and monthly or annual client like a lot of mine are, they still will come back to you when they need what you do again. So you've
yeah.
got to keep that relationship going as part of your overall plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So tell me, can you give me an example of a success story of someone that you've really helped?
Oh gosh, over 30 years, there's a ton. But one of the ones I really like that I use a lot as an example of why it's so important to, whether it's me or whoever you're dealing with on your finances, to have an ongoing relationship. I had a client, actually, it's a couple that my husband and I actually grew up with, and we've known them for a long time, and I've been doing their accounting for a while. And he was just getting more and more successful, paying more and more in taxes. But we were only seeing, I mean, they were like the epitome of what a lot of clients are, rushing in, April 1st through the 10th and wanting me to have it done by April 15th. And I was like, I see some opportunities here, but we can't do them in April. I've got to see you during the year. I mean, to get you to implement some of these things. So, he's a pretty successful guy. And so we looked at his stuff after, a month or so after the craziness of tax season ended. And we actually did some strategy. We looked at I love to help get people to hire their kids. I mean, it's an income shifting strategy among the family, even more beneficial since the latest tax law. But we put his 3 kids on his payroll. They were all like 14 to 18. And I have little job descriptions for kids as little as 2. I mean, they can be on your website and we can pay them, right? But hiring your kids, we took then 3 kids off of their personal return. They each got paid about $12,000 each. They got that for tax free. So the whole family now has got $36,000 of income that's zero, right? And you got to dot the I's and cross the T's. It's not as easy as that. We've got like job descriptions and things like that. We did another strategy where we used his home to host a couple of events. I mean, we put in 4 or 5 of my strategies. I calculated the tax of those few things that we did, and he paid literally like $48,000 less in tax, their family, just from
Wow.
moving things around, not from more sales, not from, cutting expenses, but just using some tax strategies. And that's how important this stuff is. I mean,
Yeah.
the statistics show that your 2 biggest expenses in your life are your housing and your taxes. And especially if you include all the taxes, your income taxes, your real estate taxes, all those things. I mean, why not go after the big dog, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's time well spent to save
Mhm.
$48,000.
Yeah. I mean, that's like
So what is
a really nice car.
that is so what is like your biggest tip that you give people? Like, if they don't do anything else, they should do what?
Oh, well, I mean, it sounds simplistic, but really you have to track. You have to track
Mm,
your numbers. You have to track. I'm not just talking about your sales numbers and your cash numbers. Those are super, super important. But also you've got to track your activities of what you're doing, and, what's working, what's not working. You don't know. If you're not saying, okay, from this group, I got this many leads and this is what it converted to, how do you know at the end of the year what to keep doing, right? It really is about tracking. I am like totally a freedom kind of person as far as my personality, and people are always like, oh, an accountant. But I mean, the more structure, and I struggle with structure because it's not my, it's not my thing. I'm kind of like, let's jump in and build a plane while we're flying it. But the reality is the more structure that you put in your business and your personal finance, the more freedom that you're going to get. I mean, it sounds simplistic, but it really is time well spent.
Yeah. And for those of us who don't like to track numbers, that's why we hire somebody like you. Right?
Exactly. But the thing is, you still have to actually look at them. I mean, I will tell you, this is dating me, but back in the early days of my business in the early 90s, we would go and pick up people's work. I mean, it's not like everything's electronic now. I had a route. I drove around Atlanta, different parts of Atlanta, and picked up their bookkeeping. And I would drop off the previous month's financial in all their documents. And I would go there and they would literally have a drawer of all those envelopes not even opened. So, you actually, if you're tracking them, you actually have to look at them too.
Yeah. And, I think there could be some, resistance around looking at your numbers for various reasons. Like you're afraid of what they're going to say.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's so much. We could have a whole hour-long conversation about just the whole, mindset stuff about money and the messaging that we have and how that actually, I mean, I'm not a woo-woo person. I'm more about tips, but I can give you all the tips and tricks in the world. But if you have a weird relationship with money, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, even, everybody's got their own, stories around money. And I've even noticed for myself that when things are going really well in my business, I'm always looking at my bank account. I'm always like, ooh, look at how much money's there. Look at how much money came in this month. And then when things are not going well, I'm having a dry period in my business. I'm like, I don't want to open up my bank account. I don't want to look.
I have a couple of ways that I get paid, that I get an email. Like if somebody pays QuickBooks Online, I get an email, or if I get a Stripe on my website. I mean, I get so excited when those emails come in.
Yeah, exactly. So it can be a very emotional thing, right? Like money is emotional on many levels. And so when you've got a good service provider that's helping you manage the numbers, that can help even out your whole experience as a business owner. So what you do is so super important. So you have a gift that you'd like to give people today. Can you describe what it is?
Sure. I have actually a report, a kind of a little ebook that I put together. It's called Fast Track Revenue. And again, I can't, there's no reason to worry about your tax situation if you're not bringing enough in. And it goes into a little bit about how to make more, how to actually increase your revenue. And it talks a little bit about what we talked about, selling more to the same client, maybe selling more frequently, just a couple different revenue strategies that that kind of fill the bucket, so then we could close the holes and keep more of it.
Nice. We always want to know how we can fill the bucket. So
again, and some of those, actually 3 out of the 4 tips do not require getting any more clients. I mean,
oh, good.
They just require doing stuff with the people you already have.
That's awesome. I can't wait to read it myself. If you'd like to take advantage of this free gift, just give a hashtag profit, and then we will reach out to Deborah will reach out directly to you with how to click on the link and get that gift for yourself. Awesome. Deborah, thank you so much for these are short interviews because I like to get to the point. We're both action types, so we're like bottom line it, But what you do is so key, and I just thank you for doing what you do and loving what you do. And I also know you're a fantastic networker. So if you don't know Deborah Danielle yet, you should, even if you have a CPA, because she knows everybody. So you want to get attached to her community. And also, I just want to invite anybody who is watching this video to come visit our networking group. So Empowered Business Networking is a virtual international networking group. We have members in 12 states, Canada, and beyond, and we're growing. So please come visit. If you want to find out more about our upcoming events, you can go to ebnnetworking.com, and we hope to see you there. So thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.